Albert, Matt Dukas, and Ahmad Rashad as this third quarter gets started. The Rockets lead by 6. Olajuwon up front, along with Thorpe and Horry, Smith and Maxwell in the backcourt. Maxwell played by Marley. Olajuwon taking a lot of shots. That's his 18th shot. 8 of 18 for 16 points. The Rockets 55 and the Suns 47. Setting the Suns. Johnson and Marley at the guards. Klein with Barkley up front of AC Green. Off the block, here comes Smith. Maxwell sets for the 3. And Maxwell has been quiet. And it will be Houston ball.
Well, you can see any kind of defensive play is going to get this crowd even more riled up and start some Houston fast breaks. And that's why they got started off to such a good early lead in this ball game. Is a lot of missed shots by the Suns. As Robert Horry sneaks inside on the underneath out of bounds play, and you just don't want to fall asleep like that.
Robert Horry in his second season out of Alabama. Earlier this year, almost traded. Able to hang in despite all the speculation, and Dan Marley hits a 3. Dan Marley missed his first 3 from downtown. Marley now with 8 points, and the Rockets up by 7. The Suns are hoping that that three-pointer will get Marley going in that department. Olajuwon. Well, Hakeem worked off the double team, and then it was a one-on-one situation, and he was able to get to the hoop.
Oh, the possession before Klein turned him away. He did make that baseline jumper. You just don't want to let him get in the lane. If he does put it on the floor and get in there, a big crowd has to show up.
Kevin Johnson. Knocked out of bounds by Charles Barkley. Robert Horry with a good hustle play. Horry being funneled around by a hobbling Charles Barkley. Foul is called. Foul on Marley. That's his first.
Well, both teams like to run a lot of pick and rolls as Marley trying to fight over there gets all tangled up with Otis Thorpe, as Dan Marley has really struggled defensively this year. He was a former one of the best defensive players in the league as far as guarding shooting guards. He's really having trouble chasing them off screens and keeping them from penetrating.
Klein battling with Olajuwon down low. Now Johnson over to help. Smith for 3. Kenny Smith only 1 of 6 from the field. The Houston lead is 9. Barkley isolates against Horry. Klein. Well, in contrast to what took place in Game 6, Klein is not able to hit that outside shot. And Olajuwon turned it over. He's trying to get it over to Smith. It will be Phoenix ball. Phoenix Suns opened up the season winning 15 of 18, and then they tailed off. They have gone through periods of impatience offensively, unhappy about their shot selection, a host of injuries. Marley turned back by Olajuwon. Barkley for 3. Green kept it alive. And a new 24 for the Suns. 3 minutes gone by, third quarter. Klein off the fake. Rejected by Thorpe. The ball goes back to the Rockets.
Well, the last 2 times Charles Barkley has gotten the ball inside, terrible spacing by the Phoenix Suns. This time Marley decided to take the ball down the lane, and he is stone rejected inside by first time on the play before Olajuwon. That time Otis Thorpe knocking Joe Klein's shot out of the way.
Olajuwon setting up off the dribble. Oh, what a move. He wanted to take it right at Joe Klein.
Well, there's nothing this man can't do at the offensive end of the floor, from facing up and shooting to tremendous post moves with outstanding footwork. This time, putting it on the floor, facing Joe Klein, the crossover dribble like a guard, stopping on a dime, and just a beautiful jump hook. An amazing offensive player.
Houston, Hakeem Olajuwon has taken over here in the early going of the third quarter. You see his numbers for the game, but he's 3 for 3 from the field here in the third. A very tough man to defend against. The subject that we discussed with A.C. Green of the Suns.
In general, you just really want him to shoot shots that are going to be contested. You can't really stop him getting his shots off, but you have to make him shoot with a hand in his face. You have to get him off his normal comfort spots right on the block and make him do something, some kind of variation. He's going to get shots. It's not a way you can just stop him altogether, but you can make it very hard for him to get shots up too.
Well, as you see Kevin Johnson hit off the good pass from Charles Barkley, there's no question Hakeem Olajuwon has been getting the shots, and he has been hitting them. 20 points, along with 11 rebounds and 2 blocked shots for Olajuwon. Rockets 61, the Suns 52, and Smith lost it. He felt it was deflected out of his hands, but he lost the dribble.
And Paul Westphal going to the small lineup that was so successful late in the second period. A.C. Green will have to guard Olajuwon. They're going to have to come and double team him on the catch and try to make somebody else beat them.
Barkley protecting the dribble. Nice one-on-one move against Otis Thorpe. Thorpe doesn't seem to be himself, playing with that bruised hip. He has been affected by the injury, trying to hang in. 6 points, 3 rebounds for Thorpe. Olajuwon again.
Well, the double team came and even a triple team, but by the time Olajuwon gathered that ball, he was so far into the lane, none of the extra players helped defensively.
The Rockets lead by 9. Barkley. Charles now 6 for 13. He has 16 points, along with 8 rebounds. They doubled up on Olajuwon. Maxwell for 3. Vernon Maxwell extends to a 66-54 lead. Air ball thrown by Ainge. He has been off. Maxwell accelerated. Rebounded by Olajuwon. And a foul call against the Rockets. It's on Olajuwon, his second.
Well, A.C. Green saying that you want to contest shots. Here he's contesting him for position and trying to front him, but in so doing, gave up such excellent position in the lane that not even a double team could help. You've got to push him off the ball and then get the double team and then try to make those other guys feature from the outside, which they're capable of doing.
Well, A.C. Green beating the Rockets from the outside. That's rare for A.C. here this afternoon. Rockets by 10. 6:20 to go. Third quarter. Smith unable to hit. Kenny Smith now 1 for 7. Ainge hears it from the crowd. Pitches it back to Barkley. Johnson. The Rockets now lead by 8. They've led by as many as 16. Phoenix with the run at the end of the second quarter to move within 6. And the Suns have come roaring back again.
And the Rockets right now look like a very tired team right now. They're not able to keep up defensively when the ball moves for the Suns, so they should keep doing that at their offensive end.
Maxwell. And back comes Marley, protecting the dribble. Johnson delivers to Green, and he's fouled. Beautiful pass from Kevin Johnson.
Off the miss, Dan Marley starting that fast break, getting it into the middle. Dennis Johnson does a good job stopping at the foul line and letting that defense run by, and then finding the open man, A.C. Green, who was really out of control and wisely used his body to draw that foul.
Foul called on Otis Thorpe. That is number 4 on Otis. So A.C. Green, whose free throw shooting has dropped off in this series, goes to the line. He is 2 for 2 from the line today. A.C. signing with Phoenix as a free agent after 8 years with the Los Angeles Lakers. Mario Elie is back, replacing Otis Thorpe.
So the Rockets Rockets going to a small lineup, and mainly because Thorpe has the foul problems. You can see the back of A.C. Green's head with blood still showing. Took, I think it was 5 stitches in that first half as he got hit with the tooth of Otis Thorpe.
Rockets 66. The Suns 59. Houston Rockets, a team that come a long way 2 years ago. They allowed 104 points per game. Last season got it down to 99 and led by that man, Hakeem Olajuwon, who has done it at both ends. The Rockets' defensive play has improved even more so this season. Horry with the steal. Smith passed on the 3, hits the 2. Rockets 70, the Suns 59.
Kenny Smith getting a lot of good looks at the basket because the man guarding him, Kevin Johnson, is trying to sag, drop off, and get in the lap of Olajuwon.
Danny Ainge connecting with the three-point shot. That's his 3rd of the day. And the Rockets lead 70-62. Hakeem Olajuwon in this 3rd quarter, 5 for 5 for 10 of his 24 points. Here's Hakeem with the spin on the double team. And then throws it out. Maxwell. Barkley gets position. Johnson pushes it down for Green. And he's fouled, hit by Horry.
Well, right now, the Houston Rockets look like the more tired team right now. The transition defense that was so good for them in the first half. Very slow getting back defensively, but Rudy Tomjanovich is not blessed with a very deep bench. Carl Herrera, who injured his shoulder a few games ago, is out for another couple of weeks. And Otis Thorpe in some foul problems right now. They really don't have a legitimate backup for Hakeem Olajuwon.
Herrera suffering that dislocated right shoulder in Game 5. Vernon Maxwell, like Otis Thorpe, also playing through the pain. There's Herrera, been an important player for the Rockets. Maxwell playing through the pain of injuries, both hands hurt, and right ankle, injured wrist. It's that time of season, but you got to play through it at this point.
Everybody's hurt, sore, tired at this time of the year, but you have to go on professionalism and adrenaline.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Maxwell going glass. 11 points for Vernon Maxwell. The Rockets 72 and the Suns 64. The winner will advance to meet up with the winner of Denver and Utah in the Western Conference Final. Johnson behind the back gets it back out for Abe. Johnson for 3. Air ball. Handled by Green. Barkley on the follow. Yes, and it counts. Charles Barkley will go to the line.
Oh, I don't know where Charles Barkley got the strength to gather himself and explode up to the rim and dunk, other than the somewhat fear that Hakeem Olajuwon would block this shot as A.C. Green gets his shot blocked by Olajuwon. Charles Barkley knows he's going to have to stuff this to get it through. In earlier games in this series, he tried to lay a couple of those in and he tried to dunk a couple, and Olajuwon knocked him out of there.
Foul was called on Maxwell, his 2nd. Now a discussion between the officials. The indication that the basket did count.
He counted the basket, right?
Which we all assume. It's Phoenix trainer Joe Krusky, who could, I think, work any boxing corner off his excellent job to the back of the head of A.C. Green, who took 5 stitches in the first half. Game 7 between Utah and Denver. From Salt Lake City coming up, Denver, only the 2nd team in the history of the NBA to come back from a 3-0 deficit to force a 7th game. Thursday night, the win by Denver, the Nuggets' 6th straight victory in a do-or-die scenario. Timeout taken by the Rockets. 3:26 remaining in the 3rd. Houston leading by 6. Well, Charles Barkley has been hobbling right throughout this ball game, but he's played well. 18 points, 10 rebounds. Right throughout the season, Charles has talked about the possibility of retirement. Some take it seriously, some don't. Earlier, I asked him about it.
And it's simple. I'm not going to take injections to play anymore after this year. And if the doctor cannot make me feel better through some surgical procedure, I'm not going to play. And that's just the way it is.
Charles Barkley was telling me yesterday that when the season is over, he's going to obviously get checked out by the Phoenix doctor, but 2 independent doctors as well to try to get some kind of a recommendation of what he should do. He has already talked with Larry Bird, who has gone through back surgery, and Charles is very much concerned with his future. He wants to enjoy life. He's put a lot of effort and work into his job here, and obviously made a lot of money, and a lot of people still think he has much basketball left in him, but he's hurting right now.
3:10 remaining. Third quarter. Olajuwon came up short against Green. Rocket lead is only 6. Johnson with a wild shot lands in the first row amongst the cameramen, and he drew the foul. That's number 3 on Olajuwon.
This is an open court situation, but Kevin Johnson is just fearless, driving into a pack of tall trees, and they're not afraid of contact. In fact, looks for it so he can get to the free throw line. And in the half-court setting, he right now is the best penetrator in basketball. I think when Tim Hardaway is healthy, he is right there with him, but this guy's the best right now.
Johnson 4 for 4 from the line. He has 16 points. He has really turned it up in the playoffs. Averaged 20 points a game in a injury hit regular season. Now just under 27 per game in the playoffs. Set back by a badly bruised thigh earlier in the year. Also been out with the chicken pox of all things and a sprained right ankle. Kevin Johnson bringing the Suns within 4. Sam Cassell has checked back in, played very well in the first half. That is knocked away by Johnson.
Good job on pick and roll defense there. The Suns coming into this game thought they were going to trap all those pick and rolls to be aggressive, but Kevin Johnson went under, and it enabled AC Green to keep contact with Olajuwon.
Cassell has the good range. That's a 3. 13 points and 5 assists for the rookie out of Florida State. The Rockets lead 75-68.
I just saw a little smile go across the face of Paul Westphal, but it wasn't a smile of joy. He just doesn't know what to do right now with Olajuwon. When they double him, they're starting to make the three-point shot. If they don't, he's killing the man guarding him.
AC Green has picked it up. He has 11. Rockets by 5 as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the third. Olajuwon rebounded by Green, and he took a shot. AC Green has had a very tough day physically. That's number 4 committed by Olajuwon.
Well, there's just no way that AC Green at 6'9" and probably weighs about 230 pounds, just able to do anything with Hakeem Olajuwon. He's trying to do his best to push him off the block, and all the Suns can do right now is try to keep Olajuwon guessing. Sometimes come double and leave the three-point shooters open. Sometimes not. Come when he puts it on the ball on the floor, but Olajuwon is reading it all very, very well.
Phoenix spending much time at the free throw line. Earl Sheridan replacing Hakeem Olajuwon. Phoenix now 15 of 18 from the line. How about Houston? Only 3 of 5. 5 trips to the free throw line.
Well, it's hard to foul them. They're either getting breakaway layups or they're shooting three-point shots, or Olajuwon is spinning away from you so quickly you can't get a hand on him.
The Rockets lead by 4. Olajuwon now on the bench after picking up his 4th. Cassell and Maxwell in the backcourt. Three-point attempt by Ellie. Green with the rebound. Johnson pushes it down. A technical foul has been called. Looked like Ainge and Maxwell had some words. Danny Ainge being kept away. It's on Maxwell. Vernon Maxwell, who has had his explosive moments, being taunted from behind by Barkley.
And Vernon Maxwell throwing that left elbow and forearm area up into the face and shin area of Danny Ainge. That's a 2-shot foul and a technical foul.
Vernon Maxwell ejected by Joe Crawford in game number 6. Rudy Tomjanovich telling us before the game that Vernon Maxwell said he will remain under control. Sam Cassell earlier got involved with Danny Ainge. Cassell apologized to his teammates for that.
Take a look at that right side of your screen as Danny Ainge coming down to set a pick, and there is just no place for that. And Billy Oakes just calling the technical foul and 2 free throws, had every right to throw him out of this building.
That's close to a punch. Hard to see from that angle, but a punch means ejection. That's about as close to a punch as you can get. It was a flying elbow thrown by Maxwell. 1-point lead by the Rockets. Horry off the spin was fouled. A rare trip to the foul line for the Rockets. It's called on Ainge. Get another look at that flying elbow from Maxwell. Was it an elbow or a punch? Or is there a fine line? And what is the difference?
Well, technically not a punch because he is not closing the fist and throwing it, but that kind of elbow could do just as much damage and probably even more. And of course, these two have a little bit of a history throughout this series. They've been going at it back and forth. Ainge really got under the skin of Vernon Maxwell in Game 6 out in Phoenix. And when you put those kinds of players, or really any players, together for a couple of weeks over a 7-game series, there's going to be bad blood.
The Suns in the midst of a good run. A 15-6 spurt. Horry on the line for the first time. Rockets 77. The Suns 74. Houston has led by as many as 16 as we come up on 1 minute left in the third. Johnson lost his balance and lost the ball. Ainge on the recovery. This is off to Barkley. And a lone play by Danny Ainge.
A gigantic save by Danny Ainge as the Suns not taking the opportunity with Olajuwon on the bench to make sure they take the ball to the basket and get a good shot. They got away with one there on the steal by Ainge.
Rockets now clinging to a 1-point lead. Ellie. Barkley with the rebound, but the outlet handled by Horry. Tried to bang it off the leg and succeeded. Was able to get a piece of Marley.
Well, Kevin Johnson trying to get some penetration here, not really getting a pick, but falling to the floor and losing it. But Danny Ainge came up to break up the play and knock it loose from Mario Elie, and Charles Barkley makes sure. But any time that Olajuwon is on the bench, and he's not going to be there very often, you want to take the ball to the basket as much as you can because there is just no shot blocking threat.
35 seconds to go in the third. Sam Cassell trying to spread out the floor, making the motions to his teammates. There's Cassell looking for that room and then pitches it back out. Horry reluctant and shoots the three. That's his third from downtown.
Excellent job by Sam Cassell to set all that up, taking the defense with him to the basket, kicking it back out to Horry. It looked like he fumbled the ball, but that looked great leaving his hand.
Houston by 4. 10 seconds remaining. Third quarter. Barkley working against Horry. Down to 2. Down to 1. He will not get the shot off. Barkley upset. Big quarter for Kevin Johnson with 8.6 assists. After 3, Rockets lead by 4. We'll be back after a word from your local station.
Of the third quarter, trying to get a one-on-one situation with Robert Horry, but Danny Ainge comes over and in so doing brings his defensive man, and actually it's going to turn into a turnover as Robert Horry knocks that ball loose as the quarter ends. and Charles Barkley never really gets a shot off, and he is absolutely livid at Danny Ainge for the spacing on that play and not taking his defender away.
So the 7th and decisive game of the Western Conference semifinal series has come down to the final quarter. Houston 80, Phoenix 76. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, and Ahmad Rashad from the Summit in Houston. Phoenix ball as we get underway. Barkley again posting up. Makes the move on Orange. And he brings the Suns within 2.
Nice patience and better spacing that time by the Suns as Charles Barkley able to hook Robert Horry and overpower him in the lane and get his shot off before Olajuwon could come back.
Keane is back on the floor playing with the 4 fouls. Horry for 3. He's hit 3 from downtown. The Suns can tie the game right here.
Suns have been doing an excellent job on the defensive board, and for all the outside shots that the Rockets take and so many threes, they are the worst offensive rebounding team in the league. It's amazing.
Again, Barkley operates down low against Horry. Rebounded by Ellie. Olajuwon spinning his way down low against Green. Olajuwon. He has 26. The Rockets 82 and the Suns 78.
Well, A.C. Green, we keep talking about the disadvantage he's having trying to put his body on Olajuwon, but anytime he gets the ball that close to the lane and basket, you have to come down big and hard.
But Paul Westphal feels he's more effective with Green than Miller or Klein working against Olajuwon. Marley on the drive. Marley had the step, could not convert. He was expecting contact. We're told, incidentally, that Vernon Maxwell was not called for a technical foul. Nice pass. The Sun puts it down. Maxwell, in the 3rd quarter, when he threw that elbow, was hit with a flagrant foul. Was not a technical foul. The Rockets celebrate with 2 minutes gone by in the 4th. They have taken a 6-point advantage.
Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes us back 8 years to the day. Lakers and Rockets, Game 5, score tied at 1:12, 1 second left in the game. Ralph Sampson stunning the Lakers with that shot at the buzzer. Houston won the series 4-1, and then Houston lost in the finals in 6 to the Boston Celtics. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. The Rockets have had a strange and inconsistent history in Hakeem Olajuwon's 9 years with the team. 1 trip to the finals in a huge surprise. That's the moment we just showed you. And 8 times failing to get past the 2nd round of the playoffs. Trying to change that here this afternoon. Sam Cassell has been one of the keys. 15 points. That is a career playoff high. Rockets have a 6-point lead. 9:40 remaining in the 4th. Olajuwon. Rebound Barkley. And here comes Johnson. Kevin Johnson with the spin. And a reach-in foul is called. It's on Cassell.
Well, I mentioned that the Rockets are not a good offensive rebounding team. They got a small club out there with the exception of Olajuwon. And of course, when he's shooting the ball, nobody is really crashing the board. But that does not take away from the excellent defensive rebounding game that Charles Barkley is having.
First team foul committed by Houston. Barkley for Green. Johnson open. Nice dish for Barkley. Loose ball foul against Phoenix.
And it'll go against Charles Barkley as Kevin Johnson getting the ball on a couple of rotation passes, not taking the open jumper, driving by Olajuwon, and then finding a man open in the lane, but Charles Barkley pushing Olajuwon from behind.
And some playfulness between Vernon Maxwell and Charles Barkley, although the Rockets try to calm down Maxwell. Maxwell off the dribble. He thought he was fouled by Marley. Maxwell with the steal.
Well, Dan Marley has had problems with Maxwell throughout this series, trying to guard him on screens, trying to keep him from penetrating. That last trip, he did a good job forcing the bad shot by Maxwell.
Olajuwon gets inside. It's being waved off, but a foul called before the shot attempt. AC Green charged with his second.
I was trying to read Paul Westphal's lips there, but saying when the ball goes inside, I'm sure he meant for AC Green to make sure you get behind Olajuwon, because there is just no help behind once AC Green commits.
Olajuwon and Cassell playing catch. Cassell keeps it alive. 17 points for the rookie, Sam Cassell.
Well, AC Green did the better job of staying behind and forcing the jumper, but one of those rare offensive rebounds for the Rockets, and they turn it into the deuce.
Kevin Johnson answering and brings the Suns within 6. 4 minutes in, fourth quarter, 7th and decisive game of the Western Conference semifinal series. Another 7th game coming up between Utah and Denver. That was assist number 8 for Cassell, and Olajuwon has 28 points.
And Paul Westphal shook his head. He does not want AC Green to get on top like that and open up that easy lay-in for Olajuwon. They'd rather force the turnaround jump shot.
Houston by 8. Johnson forced it. Olajuwon with the rebound. Cassell put the ball between his legs, and then the Rockets decide to regroup.
Oh, what a learning and growing experience for Sam Cassell. He's having an outstanding game, showing all kinds of power.
Olajuwon with 30, and the Rockets lead by 10. Phoenix calling for time.
Now, Paul Westphal is ready to throw his hands up no matter what they try to do, but this is not going to work as AC Green gets caught on the top side. A nice, easy lob pass, and there's nothing Green or anybody else on the Suns can do. This time, a much better job of forcing back outside, but then he's got the beautiful turnaround jump shot.
7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the fourth. Backcourt of Vernon Maxwell and Kenny Smith, as we discussed at the start. Rudy Tomjanovich feeling that their performance would be a key factor. Smith 2 for 8. Maxwell is... The man has been the rookie out of Florida State, Sam Cassell. 22 minutes of play, 7 of 9, 17 points, 8 assists for the product of Dunbar High School in Baltimore, which has produced some pretty fair players. The likes of the late Reggie Lewis, Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Williams, and many others.
David Wingate.
Yes. Coached by Bob Wade. 7 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Eames for 3. Rebounded by Barkley. Barkley tops it back out. Johnson got the step. Protected the ball beautifully against Olajuwon.
Well, trailing by 10 points, the Suns have gone into their spread the floor mode where they're going to look to drive and kick out for open threes or do what Kevin Johnson did right there, take it all the way to the basket.
Rockets have an 8-point lead, 6.5 remaining in the fourth. Ellie gets it out to Cassell. Shot clock is at 6. They double up on Olajuwon. Paul Westphal staying with the matchup of AC Green against Hakeem Olajuwon rather than go with Joe Clyde or Oliver Miller.
And you may question that kind of strategy, except that the Suns were within 2 points with that lineup at 80-78, but then the 10-2 run by the Rockets.
And Ainge hits the 3. Danny Ainge has come on. That's his 4th from downtown. He has 15, and the Suns are now within 5 with just under 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Maxwell, played by Marley. Down to 6 on the 24. Ellie gets inside. Eames got a piece of it, and Barkley is fouled. The combination of Ori and Olajuwon making the play on Barkley.
Charles Barkley with another rebound here, in danger of losing that ball from behind by Robert Horry, but able to draw the foul as he continues to suffer with that pull guard problem. It doesn't give him as much problem as the offensive end, and that's because he knows where he's going there. At the defensive end, he is really laboring.
That was number 4 called on Horry for a piece on Horry and Elijah Watt. Again, single coverage on Barkley, who gets it out. Here's Green for 3. Rebound, Horry.
AC Green not shooting it well from the top. Probably should move down to the right baseline to take Olajuwon there. Barkley will still be able to see him and put the shooters up in those spots.
AC 0 for 3 in the three-point department. He had been on fire coming in. Shot clock at 1. Cassell. Three-pointer by Cassell. He has 20. Big shot for the Rockets, who now lead by 8 with 4:40 to go in the fourth. Johnson took a hard hit through the foul.
Well, in any of these playoff games, any team is going to need unexpected production from unexpected sources. You just don't expect a rookie as Sam Cassell, although he's had a very good year, to come up with this kind of afternoon. And Paul Westphal has been shaking his head all afternoon. If it hasn't been Olajuwon doing his thing, it's been the outstanding play of the rookie Sam Cassell.
That's 4 fouls on Cassell. 4 Rockets with 4. Johnson with the strip. Nice lead. And Kevin Johnson is hurt, holding his right arm. He was able to get it to AC Green, who brought the Suns within 6. Here's Ellie on the drive, and he was fouled. Kevin Johnson is hurting.
And KJ has been driving to the basket all afternoon long, and let's keep an eye on his elbow here and here. He just may get dinged in the crazy bone, as it seemed like he caught that right elbow up on the top of Olajuwon's shoulder.
Is that like the funny bone, the crazy bone?
Crazy and funny.
The crazy bone.
Not so funny to Kevin Johnson, as he did catch it on Olajuwon's shoulder blade, as Sam Cassell and AC Green separate themselves from each other. Kevin Johnson has played every minute of this ball game as he's trying to get a little bit of life back into that elbow.
22nd timeout called by Phoenix. They have 2 full timeouts remaining. Houston with 4 and a 20.
Both teams with only 3 team fouls with 4:18 to go in the fourth quarter. It has not been a constant march to the free throw line, and you don't expect it when these two teams meet, mainly because of all the open court play and all the three-point shots.
Kevin Johnson telling Paul Westphal that he will be able to stay on the floor. It's been an outstanding game for Kevin. 23 points, 10 assists. Rockets lead by 6. 4:10 remaining, fourth quarter. Olajuwon getting in deep. Great position for Hakeem Olajuwon. He is 16 of 31 for 32 points. Houston 95 and Phoenix 87. Ainge for 3. Danny Ainge with his 5th from downtown, and the Rocket lead is 5. Houston Rockets trying to eliminate the team that went to the NBA Finals a year ago. Maxwell fouled. Vernon Maxwell will go to the line. Last season, Phoenix at 62-20, the best record in the NBA. In the playoffs, beat the Lakers, although they had big problems with LA. Just did get by 3 games to 2. Then knocked off San Antonio, Seattle in 7. And the NBA final lost to Chicago 4 games to 2. While the Houston Rockets last season, after beating the Clippers 3 games to 2, lost to Seattle in the Western Conference semifinals in a 7-game series. And Houston trying to move on to the conference final, where they will play the winner between Denver and Utah. The Rockets 97, the Suns 90 with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the fourth.
That was just the 8th and 9th free throws taken by the Rockets, and that's one strategy the Suns have not used on Olajuwon. and that is foul him and put him on the line. He shoots it at 71%, but has had some bad stretches, but they are only with 3 team fouls right now. 4.
And Cassell calls for the timeout. He was trapped and wisely used the timeout. It's a 20-second timeout with 3:18 remaining on the floor. Hakeem Olajuwon, 32 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocked shots. Charles Barkley with 22 points. Kevin Johnson with 23 to lead the Suns. And a moment ago was Barkley and Horry having some words as they headed back up court.
Oh, and Charles throwing I think a little bit of a wrist and maybe a little bit of a shot right into the breadbasket of Robert Horry as he throws a little elbow right back at Charles Barkley. Was a little bit more of a playful jab, but not something you want to be doing at this particular juncture. 3:18 to go in the fourth quarter. Still lots of time, and the Rockets leading by 7.
Houston shooting 52% for the game. Phoenix at 43. Now the double team on Olajuwon, who goes south to throw outside. And it's a 24-second violation.
And I think after that 20-second timeout, the Rockets lost their composure as far as knowing how much time was on the clock. Olajuwon giving the ball up, something he's done very well the last couple of years, ever since Rudy Tomjanovich has taken over. He now trusts his teammates, and it's made him a better player.
They're on their feet here at the Summit. AC Green. So it will be Houston ball. But first, a timeout call with 2:48 remaining in the fourth. Unusual series. The Suns won the first 2 games in Houston, then Houston won 3 in a row. Only 5 teams have ever come back from 0-2 to win in a best-of-7. Chicago did it last season against the Knicks. Not since 1969 has a club lost the first 2 at home and then come back to win in a 7-game series. The Los Angeles Lakers did it against the San Francisco Warriors. 2:45 remaining in the fourth. Rockets with the ball, and they have a 7-point lead. Rudy Tomjanovich staying with Otis Thorpe on the bench, bothered by the bruised hip, also with 4 fouls. Ames got a piece of it. Cassell rescues. Shot clock running down. Here's Cassell with 1 on the 24. Green with the rebound.
Good defense that time by the Suns, and a deflection by Danny Ainge to force the Rockets into a tough shot situation. Still plenty of time.
Green missed the tip. Olajuwon able to haul it in. We come up on 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Maxwell for Olajuwon, who draws the double team. Shot clock at 5. Maxwell going baseline for the fadeaway. Ellie trying to keep it alive. Johnson, did he call for time? Or was he pushed? He was pushed. Foul call. Foul committed by Maxwell.
I think Kevin Johnson was looking around to call a time, not in the penalty yet, so it'll be Jets Suns possession, looking now to penetrate and kick out to the open 3-point shooters.
Rockets and Suns each have 4 team fouls. Luck is called on Ellie. Rockets looking for the charge.
Kevin Johnson off the high kick, on a crossover on the dribble as Mario Ellie looked to have excellent position there as the crowd looks at it on the screen at either end of the building, and even Darryl Garrettson, the trail official, was starting to walk the other way. Nevertheless, Kevin Johnson goes to the free throw line as now both teams over the limit and no penalty.
Kevin Johnson now 6 for 6 at the foul line. The Rockets 97 and the Suns 91.
And one player the Suns may consider fouling now is Vernon Maxwell. Normally a good free throw shooter, just 6 for 12 in this series.
Well, it is a 5-point Rocket lead. Houston well aware of the come-from-behind ability of the Phoenix Suns. They came back from a 20-point deficit back in Game 2. It is down to 5. Olajuwon, and the Suns wanted a traveling call.
That's because he did walk, as A.C. Green put his arm and hand in there to get a piece of the ball. Olajuwon walked right through it.
Ellie with the rebound. A minute 20 remaining in the fourth. Rockets with a 7-point lead and the ball. Cassell. Green on the rebound. Had it knocked away by Olajuwon.
Well, the Suns continue to let the Rockets eat up a lot of time. I'm really surprised they're not committing fouls here. It is getting to be a very, very desperate situation with just 1 minute to go, trailing by 7.
Barkley, fouled by Morey.
Back to the other end as Olajuwon gets the ball inside. A.C. Green going to reach in and get a piece of the ball as Olajuwon picks him up and lays him down. And that should have been a walking violation or a jump ball between A.C. Green and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Olajuwon with 34 points and 16 rebounds. Charles Barkley, 2 of 3 from the line. 56 seconds remaining in the fourth. Barkley with 22 points, 15 rebounds. You look at Charles, who's been playing hurt right throughout. You get the idea he is at the final seconds of a 12-round heavyweight title fight.
Well, he's been talking about it all year. I don't think he's going to make that decision today, tomorrow. It's something he's going to have to give a lot of thought to the rest of this summer.
Rockets by 5. Cassell pressured by Marley and Johnson. And is able to get it across. Shot clock at 10. No fouls being given here by Phoenix.
I'm really shocked that they have not committed fouls on this possession. It may be the last 2 or 3. But nevertheless, they get the turnover.
A steal by Green. It's only a 5-point game. Barkley looking for the 3. Couldn't find it. Here's Marley. Way short. Fielded by Cassell. And a foul is called. Dan Marley continues to struggle. 3 for 10 from the field. The Rockets are headed to the foul line.
All Dan can do is frown. He's got very strong legs, and when he gets them under them, he normally puts up a nice-looking shot. That thing fell about 4 or 5 feet short, and he is at a loss for answers.
The combination of Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Cassell have scored 17 of Houston's 19 points here in the fourth quarter. Hakeem with 10, and Cassell, who has had the NBA game of his life, now has 8 points in the fourth, 21 in all.
Well, the Rockets do not have a lot of depth up front, and it's been a problem for them all season long, but their depth in the backcourt has certainly paid off, especially today with Sam Cassell.
22 for Cassell, 1 shy of his NBA career high. It is a playoff career high, and they are celebrating at the Houston bench with 23 seconds to go. That is not an NBC made sign, very professionally made though, with the peacock, the logo showing as Charles Barkley may be winding it down for the season. Hakeem Olajuwon with 34 points, 16 rebounds, 20 of the 34 in the second half. Phoenix down to 1 timeout remaining. And the rookie, Sam Cassell, so brilliant here this afternoon in 29 minutes. 22 points on 8 of 11 from the field. Rockets with the jump start. They were up 16-4. Phoenix has come back on several occasions. Here's Barkley way off on the 3-point attempt. And that should be the wrapper as Mario Elie has begun the celebration. Down to 10 seconds. Olajuwon, yes, and it counts. And that will do it.
And now Vernon Maxwell and Charles Barkley pushing each other and knocking each other back as a very, very hard foul by Charles Barkley on Olajuwon as he put the ball in the hole as Maxwell's going to be thrown out, and I believe Charles Barkley is gone as well.
But Vernon Maxwell has been ejected for the second straight game. Dick Bavetta with the ejection. Rudy Tomjanovich was upset, as happy as he is about this impending victory, very upset that Maxwell lost it once again.
Well, as all coaches at this time of the year, with emotions running so high and players going at one another for a lot of games, you're always concerned. You want your guys to go out there and play with a lot of emotion, but you also want to keep that under control, as Barkley, the extra hard shove on Olajuwon, knocking him hard to the floor, which brought Vernon Maxwell into the play to get right into the chin of Charles Barkley, who pushes off, and that'll send Maxwell to the showers quickly.
Barkley being ushered aside, and apparently he has also been tossed.
Charles going to delay this trip to the locker room as long as he can, as he turns back to Darryl Garretson and Dick Bavetta to have a few final words.
This is not the way that Charles was looking to end the season. As he heads past our broadcast location in the direction of the Phoenix locker room. Double technicals on Barkley and Maxwell, so that is ejection.
A very difficult season for Charles with the injuries. Paul Westphal and the Suns organization taking the very conservative approach and keeping Charles out, getting him as much time to rehabilitate and rest the knee problems and the back problems to try to have him as healthy and ready as possible for these playoffs, and he almost worked, and it looked like they were on their way in this series when they first won the first two games.
7 4/10 seconds remaining. Hakeem Olajuwon with an outstanding all-around performance. 37 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocked shots, leading to the frequent chance of MVP from this crowd at the Summit. The Houston Rockets on their way to the Western Conference Finals. As they have defeated the Phoenix Suns 104-94. So the Suns, who went to the NBA Finals facing Chicago last season, have been eliminated, while the Houston Rockets are able to get past the second round after falling short 8 straight years. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Marv. I'm here with Sam Cassell and Hakeem Olajuwon. And first of all, Sam, you are not supposed to be playing that way as a rookie.
Well, Rudy gave me the opportunity to play. My teammates got a lot of confidence in me. I just played to have fun and play hard.
So, Hakeem, you have had some fine season, some fine playoff series here, and I know you're happy to be moving on.
I'm just so happy we won this game. Game 7 is such a dangerous game that you can't really play a game. I'm so glad we pulled this one over.
You guys played like veterans, especially this young man over here played like a veteran.
I know. I'm just so happy we won. It was a team effort, and we'd like to take it all the way.
All right, Sam, any preference as to who you play in the next round?
It doesn't matter. We're just glad to be there, and we'll be there.
All right, congratulations to both of you, and good luck to you in the next round. All right, back to you, Marv.
Well, the veteran Hakeem Olajuwon and the rookie Sam Cassell combining to lead the Rockets to the victory. Olajuwon 37 points, 17 rebounds. Cassell 22 points and 8 assists. Again, the final, Houston 104, the Suns 94. Coming up next, Game 7 between the Utah Jazz and the surprising Denver Nuggets. The winner moves on to the Western Conference Finals against the Rockets. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Ahmad Rashad saying so long from Houston.
Laying on top of Charles, you can see the pain, a groin injury, that bad back. but he would stay in. And on the inbounds, the tap back to Danny Ainge for the tray. Phoenix down only 6 at halftime. In the third quarter, Hakeem beckons. The big block against Dan Marley. Then on offense, one-on-one against Joe Klein. Mismatch. Then in deep against A.C. Green. Another mismatch. Really, everybody was a mismatch against Hakeem yesterday. 37 points. Phoenix trying to rally. Finally, Barkley in the face of Hakeem on the dunk. But again, Charles hobbled by the pain. Fourth quarter, Suns get within 2. Barkley posting up Robert Horry. So why is Sam Cassell smiling? Because the rookie came up huge. The drive in the lane, the jumper over KJ, and then the deep, deep three with 1 on the shot clock. Houston builds the lead back up to 8. That one, a tough one for Paul Westphal to watch. Closing seconds, Barkley shoves Hakeem to the floor. The always feisty Vernon Maxwell doesn't like it, gets in Barkley's face. They shove, they push. They are both ejected. Would not be, from Barkley fans' point of view, a fitting way for him to end his career. A loss and an ejection, a 10-point win for the Rockets as they move on. Cassell with 22, Robert Horry had 15.
Final game, well, the Rockets were trying to make sure it was. First quarter, Robert Horry not 1, but 2 3-pointers as Houston got out to an early 8-point lead, 15 points for Horry, and there were more problems for the Suns, Mike.
Well, Dan Marley had his problems. First 3 games, he averaged 16 per game. The last 4 games, only 4 points per game. Can't get the long-range jumper to go. Suns had a poor night shooting. Westphal looking for some answers. Instead, he found Hakeem Olajuwon, who had A.C. Green undermanned underneath. Take a look at the pump fake, the shake, the jump hook counted.
Oh, by the way, that wasn't the only time that A.C. Green was a victim. How about this? Late in the fourth quarter, the turnaround jumper over A.C. Rockets leading it by 10. Hakeem would finish with 37 points. 5 minutes left. Houston's lead was down to 5. But outside, Sam Cassell rips off the 3. He finished with 22. That was another key for Houston as they won at 104-94. So the Rockets becoming only the second team in history to come back to win a best-of-7 series after dropping the first 2 games at home. Hakeem got a lot of help from the perimeter guys. Meanwhile, Charles was hampered by a groin injury, and the back is always a sore point. In fact, Barkley's back will dictate if he'll be back next season. Meanwhile, the Rockets keep rolling.
I'm so proud of this team, especially after the gigantic hole that we had to climb out of. And, you know, they've done it right from the beginning of the year.
It's a great deal beating this team. You know, it wasn't easy. They're experienced, very good team, and we pulled together and won this game. We learned a lot